We're just out right now. Mother Nature getting that fresh air, staying focused, staying motivated, staying encouraged as always. Being grateful and thankful for everything that has taken place at this very moment. Calm and very peaceful right now. But as we know, opposition works in the shadows. But what opposition don't realize is that everything is being seen because everything is energy. That's the thing. See, the more you transition into the spirit realm, the more you transition into the spirit, which is energy, the more you connect with your breathing, which in turn clears the mind, brings healing to the central nervous system, which releases fear and anxiety. It becomes a lot easier to become sensitive in the spirit realm, in the energetic realm. Words are spirit, thoughts are spirit. So it becomes important to understand how this spiritual war actually works. It becomes very important to understand how the spiritual war is actually fought and how this spiritual war is actually won. Because, see, I'm about being practical. I'm about being practical. It's about knowing what's going on, being able to see what's going on, being able to feel what's going on, so you can handle things accordingly. Because this fight is only a challenging fight because we perish for a lack of knowledge. This fight that we're in, we perish for a lack of knowledge. See, what a lot of people don't realize is because it's becoming more clear and more evident. Like the stuff that you see with Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, all that stuff you see on social media, it's warning before destruction. Pride comes before the fall. So remember, pride comes before the fall, and there's warning before destruction. All that stuff that's going on with Puffy right now, Puff Daddy, everybody sees what's going on. It's all over social media. And this is when you know that it's real from the standpoint of the elite or those behind the scenes are sending out a message. It's when it's on major news platforms, when it's on Fox, CNN, NBC, when you start seeing it, because those are professional networks, those are controlled by very wealthy, powerful elite forces. So when they put you on their platforms, this ain't just like some hip hop stuff, clickbait. This is real. So everything you see, you got to look at it. I'm gonna break this down. Blessings to everybody that's on this live right now. We got to break it down and see things for what it is, because you got to remember, this is bigger than just Sean Combs. Sean Combs is like the mascot for something way deeper and way bigger. Yet he does hold a lot of power because of his influence in the atmosphere or the environment or the category he was placed in, which we know is hip hop, the music industry. But he's a mascot. He ain't the one that's really out here doing it, because I'm telling you, the real movers and shakers, the elite, they don't have social media pages. They don't have Instagram. They don't have Facebook. They don't have YouTube. You ain't gonna ever see their faces. You ain't gonna ever know who they are. But they will always have a mascot in the forefront that represents them. That's just how the game goes. And it'll get to a point. Check this out. It'll get to a point to where, because these elite individuals, they already are established in their positions, even though their positions are temporary, because everything shifts and everything changes. And we got to stop looking at things as just like good or evil. I don't know if you remember Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, when Bane, he said, I'm necessary evil. If you study the book of Isaiah, God breaks down when he says, I create good and evil for my purpose. And you say, why would you create good and evil? There's a balance to everything, because there are some people's hearts that are already set in a certain manner. They was already going to make the choices. That there's some people that hurt people and they're okay with hurting people. Then there are people who hurt people and they don't really feel too good about that. Even though they doing it, they just like, man, I don't want to. And there's some people who hurt people and they like it. That's just what they do. There's a difference. And so what you see on the news right now with Puff Daddy all over the place, that's a warning. That's a warning from the elite. And when you talk about the elite, we're not just talking about, oh, the powers that be evil people. These people don't think on the terms that we think on because they understand balance. They understand the universe. They understand God law. Why do you think there's so many people who you would consider to be evil, but they big spenders? They give. They give to charities. They really be giving. They really be helping people because they understand laws and principles and commandments. And doesn't the word of God say that he reigns on the just as well as the unjust? That's what he says. So God is no respecter of person. If you obey the laws that he's created, God has to honor those laws. Your judgment will come based on how you are functioning with the law, but yet and still, the law is the law. So what we see going on with Sean Combs right now, it's a warning to every organization out there. It's a warning because he's just at a high level, meaning that putting him out there, everybody's going to see the warning. Look, if there's anybody at low levels doing anything that you think you can hide and keep playing these games, trust me, it's judgment season. And ain't nobody new to the game, man. A lot of people who have been doing a lot of things that they know they shouldn't be doing, they've been doing. They just been getting away with it. And after a while, when you get away for something for so long and you reap certain benefits from getting away with things you shouldn't be doing, it starts to feel like it's the right thing to do when it's not. This is what we call a reprobate mind, a heart that has become stone. Because now you just strictly 3D survival mode, materialistic. You already know your dark deeds have to be covered up by the material world. So you need material things. So people focus more on the material things than they actually focus on you, seeing you. Because somebody with a dark heart in a very, very narcissistic, reprobate mind is a little bit harder to detect if they wearing nice clothes and driving a nice car and living in a nice home and got a certified position. It's a little bit more easier to kind of get away with a couple things, especially when you got money to pay people. You know what I'm saying? When you got money to pay people off, I can break this down so deep, man. But I'm not that type of person that's gonna come on YouTube and I'm gonna expose this and I'm gonna expose that. And hey, y'all click that like button too. I don't care if it's only 3 likes, at least one. Let me get one, please. But what's going on with him is warning before destruction. Because we have to remember there is a true divine living God who is bigger than religion. And Sean Combs is being put out to show the whole world, look, if you are operating in any way, shape, or form that is not harmonious to life. Because remember, Puff Daddy be calling himself, I'm love. That's what he be saying, like he's love. He all love. It's like, come on, bro. Now look it, this is not me judging, because I don't know him like that. And I don't look at situations and circumstances that are being presented to me in the forefront and just make my judgments and assessments. Because a lot of times, in order for judgment to not come upon those that you can't see, somebody got to be sacrificing judgment has to come upon someone that you can see. But it goes a whole lot deeper than what you can see. I tell you that. So it's warning before destruction. This is why Sean Combs is being presented in the light he's been presented in, and the reason why they don't have no problem throwing him under the bus because of two things. Number one, you done lived a very extravagant life for quite some time. So if you sold your soul, you didn't got your soul's worth. And number two, at some point in time, you can't be in certain positions of power and authority like that, of influence out there on the public eye, and not become so narcissistic, so reprobate in the mind, and so stony of a heart that you start really becoming kind of careless to just life itself. You start to become very destructive to where now it's bringing attention. And I'm not even talking attention that you can see. I'm talking about in the spirit realm. You're bringing attention based on the spirit realm to the organizations and the people that you're connected to based on how reckless and careless you're being openly because of your ego, because of your narcissistic behavior. It's bringing universal judgments, spiritual judgment, because there's spiritual laws. These individuals know how this goes. And you got to remember, this is election year. So whenever it's election year and they're passing laws and different policies and certain things are going on, you best believe this is the time where somebody gonna be sacrificed. Things is about to, but ultimately, when we know that it doesn't matter what man does, what man's plans are, no matter how sophisticated and organized and covert it may seem or appear to be, there are powers and forces in the spirit realm in higher dimensions when we stop playing with this that are real and they don't play. The further you get away from this third dimensional vibration and the higher you vibrate, you start to enter into realms where there's only peace and love and joy. And I'm not talking about what you experience in this earthly realm. That's just a small little taste. I always say, if you've ever experienced an orgasm, whoever's experienced the orgasm, imagine just walking around in the state of being of the highest eternal orgasm. I'm talking about your body is on point, your mind is on point, everything is on point. Everything is on point. Imagine your physical body. It has all the vitamins, the minerals. It's healthy, fully functional. Ever since you was in the fruit of your mother's womb, she was taking care of you. The father that planted you, he was taking care of his body, so the sperm was on point. And then boom, imagine your body is fully functional. You just fully healthy. Everything is operating accordingly and correctly. And then you just become a living, breathing orgasm. The feeling that you feel temporarily when you have an orgasm, imagine experiencing that just as a state of being. You ain't got to do nothing to make it happen. It just is. We talking about realms and frequencies that you don't need no drugs. You don't need no stimulation. You don't need no sex. You don't need none of those things. It just already is. If you are consciously aware and alive and you are vibrating at that level, you're going to just experience things at a whole nother level. So there are individuals who have to simulate those experiences in higher frequencies down here in this third dimension by doing certain things, because you'll wonder, why do people do certain things to people? Why are you hurting children? Why are you doing this? Why are we doing all this stuff when it all comes back to us trying to stimulate this physical body? You don't matter if you're from a whole nother planet and you ain't even on this humanistic level. Why are you here functioning with human beings? What pleasure are you getting out of that as another entity from a whole nother galaxy, a whole nother alien life force? What pleasure do you get? Is it like people who eat cows? You got aliens who eat people, like they meat, like they just, this is just food. We got to start really like not getting so deep to where it gets weird, but start really just questioning from a healthy standpoint, just so our minds can kind of reconstruct and we just stop being so reprobate and just so habitual in a hamster wheel way, to where we're not making any progress, we're not going anywhere, we're not achieving anything. And I say this to say too, it's because you still have people, even to this day, at this very moment, who still believe that spell work and witchcraft and, okay, it's Friday, it's Thursday, it's Saturday, let's do this, everybody come together. That stuff don't work. That's a vibration and a frequency that has already died out. The vibration, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So we know that heaven has to be a higher frequency, but we also know that it is possible for that frequency to come down into the earthly realm. Think about it. Our Heavenly Father, who art thou in heaven, we acknowledge where you at. You above this frequency. Hallowed be thy name. We put some respect on your name. Thy kingdom come. Kingdom. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Whoo, check this out. Our Heavenly Father, our heavenly, the highest of the frequencies, our Heavenly Father who is in heaven. It didn't say who's in the kingdom. Our Heavenly Father who art thou in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That means that the heaven and the kingdom is two separate realms. The kingdom was given to God's children to manifest on earth. Heaven is God's realm, the highest realm where he dwells. Our heavenly Father, who is in heaven, not the kingdom. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done as it is in the kingdom. No, as it is in heaven. Thy will be done within your manifested kingdom on earth as it is in your heavenly realm, the highest frequency. And there are those other entities, interdimensional beings that are such of a low vibrational level, but it doesn't take away from the fact. Let me break it down like this. Have you ever met someone, or do you know people who are healthy physically? They got all the muscles, they eat right, they eat good, they're nutritional, they got the money, the resources, but their minds is toe up. They psychologically toe up. They're emotionally damaged. They're still traumatized. You can walk around healthy physically and still be traumatized and have mental health issues. You could be walking around strong, heck of energy, powerful, looking good, even feeling good, but you still got trauma and mental health issues. You are emotionally imbalanced. That's a possibility, right? So you don't think that a fallen angel is a divine being who has real powers and abilities, real knowledge and understanding, but they are vibrating at such a low death rate level. This is why it's easy for them to possess people to hurt children. This is why it's easy for a man who will kiss his mama yet destroy somebody else's daughter. Will praise their mama and love their mama, but will destroy somebody else's mother or father and keep them from being parents to their children and destroying their children's life. Bro, I'm telling you. And what is the message of all of this? Man, I'm praying for those who have entered in such a reprobate mind that they don't realize that the warning signs are already in front of your face. So pride comes before the fall, and there's warning before destruction. All these curses and spells, the power of three, all the psychological warfare, you're only going against yourself and those who are vibrating at that level. Like I always say, just because we all staying at the same hotel don't mean we got the same view. That means that just because we all on this planet Earth don't mean we vibing at the same level. Just because you're in a room full of people don't mean everybody's vibing at the same level. Just because you got a classroom full of students doesn't mean everybody's vibrating at the same level. You know why? Because you can have a classroom full of 30 students, but those 30 students are being raised differently. It's what they're doing in secret. What are their parents feeding them? What time do they go to sleep? Are they taking naps? How's their nutritional intake? So you have 30 students who are sitting in a classroom, but they're being raised differently. They have a different nutritional intake. They're not going to function the same, although they're in the same classroom with the same teacher taking the same test. I'm at a point and place in life right now to where I know I'm Gucci. I'm like David, bro. My boldness comes from the God that I serve, not because I think I'm better than somebody. I spend too much time minding my own business to be focused on somebody else and trying to destroy them. I don't live in that frequency. So all the plots and the plans, because you know why? Think about every single person that Diddy was funding. Wouldn't it be in their best interest to see, well, even though they know Diddy is wrong, but because Diddy is the one that's paying their bills, Diddy is the one that's making sure they living in that house and in that car, and they'll do whatever Diddy tells them to do. So wouldn't it be in their best interest to make sure that Diddy stays in a position, even though they know he wrong? Because if you cut the head, everything else is gonna fall. See, God is going after the heads. And he's going after the heads through those who are behind the scenes who you don't see, who are working through those who you do see on the scene. So you're going to see a lot of churches fall, a lot of pastors fall. You're going to see a lot of entertainers and celebrities fall because the frequency is changing whether we want it to or not. Why do you think time is speeding up? It's already Friday. It's already Friday. You know how people used to say, man, thank God it's Friday. It's been a long work week. It's like, thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Next thing you know, you 70 years old. Thank God. Wait a minute. It's almost my time to go. What did I do with all that time? Time ain't playing no more because the frequencies are changing, bro. So while people think that they over here, we gonna cast a spell, we gonna do some witchcraft, we gonna play these low vibratory rate games, you don't, bro. There's an eclipse getting ready to come up on the 8th. It's quote unquote Easter on Sunday. Now we know, now we know this Sunday ain't got nothing to do with no eggs and no rabbits. And a lot of what they be preaching in the church about Easter ain't even got nothing to do with that either. They understand frequencies. They understand universal alignments. There are those who got all the scriptures and the scrolls and the knowledge and the wisdom, so they understand how these things work. And they also understand that your physical body is a part of it all, so they need you to operate in certain ways. Why do you think this weekend is going to be a whole bunch of fights, a whole bunch of boxing matches, a whole bunch of people bet money, whole bunch of boxing matches, whole bunch of Easter plays, whole bunch of people running around with all these different color eggs and rabbits and all, but on a whole nother vibration of frequency, there's a whole nother system going on that ain't got nothing to do with everything we keep doing every single year. But I'm gonna tell you what's taking place and what's happening. Man, people better get right because it's gonna be in a. You want to know what the rapture is? People be talking about the rapture. Oh, Jesus is gonna come out of the sky, and people are just gonna start floating up in the sky. Up, bro. We gotta get out of Sunday school and grow up. We back. This is how you know it's powerful. I ain't never had my live stream cut off, so let me know if y'all can hear me. But check this out. You want to know what the rapture is? This is not me making up stuff, bro. I got saved. I gave my life to the Lord in 2003. It's 2024. I've been through a lot in my life. And a lot of times, if you don't know a person's testimony, if you don't know what a person's been through, a lot of times there are people who don't look like what they've been through by the grace of God. When the children of Israel were in the wilderness, God kept them. Their clothes didn't wear out. Their shoes didn't wear out. God protected them and preserved. Bro, you got to start believing in something greater than ourselves and bigger than ourselves. We got to start believing in something greater than social media. We got to start believing in something greater than even what we believe in. Come on, man. This. Look at this. Look at that big bright light in the sky. What? Who designed that? We be so impressed by cars and clothes, and we want to look like this, and that's because of social media. We're so busy subconsciously comparing ourselves to other people and where we're at and where we're not at, and what this person got and what we wish we look like. Now, what is that big bright light in the sky? Who created that? I want to know who created that. I'm very impressed by people who create Teslas and rocket ships, and people who build homes and scientists and doctors and lawyers. I'm very impressed by that. Very impressed. But when I look up in the sky and I see that big bright light, because when I was homeless, I spent a lot of time under that big bright light. So me and this big bright light, we got a relationship. It ain't, oh, this is hot. It's hot. Oh, look at today's a sunny day. It's light outside. But if you take a spaceship and you go up closer and closer and closer, that big bright light ain't lighting up nothing but this atmosphere. It ain't lighting up nothing up there. And accordingly to what we are seeing when we look at it, it looks bright and it looks like light. The closer you get to it, the darker it actually gets. And when you understand that there's actually a sun behind the sun, it's not just one sun. There's a lot of things, man, we don't know. We think we know. We think we got figured out, man. And if we actually took time to not just Google, because Google is a blessing too. Go get you some information, go study. But when you get to that library, you start reading, when you start connecting with Mother Nature and the trees that give off what you need to breathe in, and you give off what the trees need to breathe in, and they start giving you information, and you start connecting with the earth, and you start rubbing your feet in the dirt, and then the earth starts giving you life, and you just start becoming consciously aware of your surroundings and what's going on. And it's like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. The rapture. Trust me, I'm always on point. The rapture. You got two people working the same job. One person goes home and they just like,
I'm blessed. I can do this. I got this no matter what I'm going through. I know my check ain't enough right now. I got all these bills, but I know a way's going to happen. Something's going to work out. And then they go and they spend time on working on something that they're doing behind the scenes, whether it's I work on graphic designs and things like that. So people are working on things to change their lives. They're working on how to learn stocks, on how to do real estate. They're learning something, but they go back to work and they go and they're thankful. They're just grateful to have a job. And even though it's tough and it's hard, they're putting in work. Then you got another person that goes to the job and it's just like, oh, they got to pretend like they really want to be there and they don't. And they just half-assing their job. And they gonna do just enough to keep their job, but they ain't all in it like that. And then when they go back home, they got their little witchcraft altar set up, and they got their little voodoo doll set up, and they got all their little connections of people that they work with or whatever the case may be. We're at a time of season where you're about to see raptures, and it's gonna happen like that. That person who was working that job, who was behind the scenes perfecting some type of craft or skill or gift and ability and talent, who was pressing through and believing because he knew that there was something more and something greater, and he wanted to just be or she wanted to just be a blessing. Not just he, but she. You're gonna find opportunities opening up, doors opening up, things happen, and the rapture comes. What did it say in the Bible? It says two are going to be working in the field. One's going to be still sitting there. The other one is going to be gone. And see, this is the thing. There's two people in the field working. At some point in time, as these vibrations and frequencies change, you can begin to tell who's about to get raptured into a higher position. So you got people who are trying to stop the rapture because they know they're not getting raptured. Why? Because they haven't been putting in genuine work. At some point in time, all them spell works and witchcraft altars and voodoo dolls and mirror magic and psychological warfare and all the chakra light code blockages, all that stuff was working because it had to work. God had to allow certain things to give off the appearance like it was working. So by the time he showed up on the scene, he can show who's really powerful, who's really in control. God kept telling Moses to go tell Pharaoh to let his people go, only just to harden Pharaoh's heart to not let him go. What sense does that make? But God is so powerful that he has to raise up an opponent in this realm just as powerful as him, only in this realm, though, so that when God exercises his power, it's evident who's really making things happen. When Moses went and threw down his staff and it turned into a snake, Pharaoh was like, I got sorcerers who can do that too. Come on in. They threw down their staff and it turned into a snake. You see? There's people in this realm who can. But what happened? Moses' snake ate theirs up. But they demonstrated that, look, you threw down your. Moses didn't turn the staff into a snake. God did. Moses was just operating in faith and trusting God. Throw the staff down and turn it into a snake. Pharaoh, like, man, I got sorcerers who can do that too. Come on, do that. Boom, they threw down their staff and it turned into a snake. The only difference is Moses' snake ate theirs up. So there's a lot of things that God has been allowing, and now God's snake is about to eat up the world snake to show who's always in control. And those who kept the faith, and how do you keep the faith? I'm going to trust that this divine being that I believe in will provide for me no matter what I got to go through, no matter what I got to deal with, no matter how many losses I take. I'm not going to do anything that's going to go against somebody just to gain status or position or material possessions. I'm going to stick to my God and trust that he will supply all of my needs. That's keeping the faith. Keeping the faith is I could go this way and do a whole bunch of stuff I know is wrong, but I'm not. I'm going to keep the faith and trust God because I want him to be glorified in my life. I want to be able to sleep at night. I want to have peace. I don't want to have to put on this persona or this image or pretend like I'm something that I'm not. I want to genuinely, authentically, unapologetically be who I am in truth and in spirit. And it all should be from the source of love. But at the same time, don't misconstrue my confidence in my God when I come like King David getting ready to take out a Goliath as being cocky and egotistical. You gotta be insecure and full of fear and unhealed to think that, or you have a lack of knowledge and not understanding the person's testimony. So instead of getting to know why is this person this confident, why is this person talking like this, who is this person, who does he think he is? Let me get to know him. Let me ask him some questions. Don't nobody ask no questions because the majority of people wearing a mask. They don't want nobody asking them questions. I'm an open book. I refuse to live in shame and guilt and condemnation and okay, man, I ain't worthy. I ain't worthy. And people try to say, oh, you better humble yourself, or we got to do something to humble this person, to humble that woman, humble that man. It's like, dude, you're supposed to humble yourself before God. You're supposed to humble yourself in the sight of the Lord. Because what does humility mean? Making yourself of no reputation. You're nothing. You're a nobody. Do you think that that's how God sees you? You think God sees you as a nothing, a nobody? No. You're the apple of his eye. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. He sent his son to die for you when you was his enemy. So I'm pretty sure he thinks pretty highly of you. But when you come into the presence of God and you realize who you coming into the presence of, man, you ain't coming like you all that, like, yeah, I got this. No. And you don't even come like that before people. Like, yeah, this is me. Check me out. I'm a chosen one. Man, ain't nothing pretty about being no so-called chosen one. Ain't nothing pretty or braggadocious about saying, yeah, I'm a son of God. I always tell people, do you know why they put Jesus on the cross? We know why he was sent to be on the cross, but do you know why his own people put him on the cross? It's because when you say you are a child of God, forget all this chosen one. We chosen ones, the chosen one. Ain't nothing in the Bible say nothing about no chosen one. It said many are called, but few are chosen. You know, say nothing, ain't got nothing to do. I'm a chosen one. I just put that as my little hashtag so these videos can get to the right places to wake people up, because I'm getting tired of that whole chosen one. We talking about tribes, the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, the Israelites, Hebrews, Gentiles. You don't know chosen ones like that's a nationality. You're going to look at the application. It says African American, Chinese, Native American, Caucasian, chosen one. Like that's a race. We got to wake up. We got to just wake up to the realities. The rapture, man. The rapture. You got a group of people. And in that group, some people are going to be multimillionaires. Doors are going to open up. Some people are going to stay right in the position that they in. And they'll think, we're all in the hotel lobby. How come this person's in the penthouse and I'm only on the first floor? Because in that person's secret place, they was thinking at a penthouse level. They was making penthouse moves. And the moves that they were making and the thoughts that they were thinking had nothing to do with going against nobody else. It was all for a desire to bring glory to God, because they truly believed and they had more faith and appreciation that this divine being will reveal itself to them in a way that they can understand and grasp, to the point to where they're willing to sacrifice, even putting their life on the line for this faith in what they say they believe in. We ain't putting other people's lives on the line. We ain't sacrificing other people's children. We ain't sacrificing other people's livelihoods and other people's destinies. We ain't doing none of that. See, the world is about to wake up real quick, real quick. Fully mature, fully developed, consciously alert and alive, mentally healthy, emotionally mature and balanced organisms full of life, that's able to comprehend and process, to reason, to use logic, but also to use creativity, to be able to have a conversation with someone. No judgment, no hatred, no insecurity, no fear, no trauma. We got to get back to actually being fully functional beings. Like, for real. I get on this live right now. Blessings to everybody, man. Sending out peace and love and joy and harmony. Sending high vibrations. As soon as I get off, I'm living what I'm speaking to the best of my ability, having to know that I have to stay connected to something greater than myself, because I still live inside of a body that's capable of going completely backwards at any given time. That's the one thing about overcoming yourself and giving your life to the Lord. You got to treat it like an AA meeting. You got to treat it like, look, once an addict, always, once a sinner, you always a sinner. As to say, it's always possible for me at any given moment of time to do something that goes against who I am. I need the word of God. I need the Holy Spirit. I need to stay connected to something greater than myself, because I know myself. I ain't all that. There ain't no bag of chips. You be wanting some cake, but you don't feel like you're worthy of eating it. Now they say you want your cake and eat it too. I want some cake. I still don't even feel worthy to eat that cake, man. And it's my birthday. Lord, I need you.
It's that real. It's that real, man. When you know I'm on YouTube Live right now, on YouTube Live, there are people who decided to say, you know what? I'm going to take some time out of my life, even if for 2 minutes, to join this individual on his live. Do you realize how powerful and how incredible that is? Especially when you realize you're talking to a person who I know I was either supposed to be locked up, strung out, or dead. Those were the realities that were presented to me. But God had other plans. You're talking to somebody who's supposed to be dead. But guess what? I'm crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live. Yet, it's not I that live, but it's Christ that lives in me. The power of God lives in me. In the life that I now live, I live for the one who loved me first and gave his life for me. Did I see him die on the cross? No. But I've seen my life be on the cross plenty of times, and I should be dead, and God still keep resurrecting me. I'm like, you ain't gotta show me that no more. Overcoming addictions that people don't overcome, coming out of circumstances and situations and not looking like I've been through anything. So it's easy for a person to hate you, not like you, to judge you, talk mess about you, try to curse you, put spells on you, try to collab and conspire to come against you to stop you, not realizing how you gonna stop a dead man. You got people trying to place curses on a dead man. You can't curse something that's dead. You can't kill something that's dead already. You can't bind something, destroy something, delay something, offer up something as a sacrifice. You can't place a contract or a green light on somebody's head that's already dead. I died a long time ago. The only thing that keeps me alive is the power of Christ, my faith in Christ, and it becomes real. There's a bright light in the sky. Now, we've gotten comfortable with that light because we've seen it do what it does so many times. But imagine if one day it just stopped coming up. Imagine if one day it just stopped coming up. I say that to say is because if we got this bright light in the sky and we just stop getting so comfortable with things as if it's just, oh, that's the sun and it's hot today. Oh, it's cold, the sun ain't out. That was created for a purpose and for a reason. A farmer understands how important that big bright light is because it produces food. It has such an effect on the human body that if you stand in front of it long enough, you will change in some way, shape, or form. It's not just a sun. It's a sunny day. It is created for a purpose and for a reason. So I say that to say, if I can look at this big bright light in the sky and be like, yo, who created that? That's amazing. And if I stand in his presence for a certain amount of time, something happens to me. If I look at it at a certain point in time, all the little shininess goes away and I can just see this big orb and it's just like, and it's really not as bright as it looks. It kind of looks dark as if there's something behind it illuminating it when you actually really look at it. So if that's still amazing to me, and you can read a book, and the thing about man always wants to make you seem like he's just in control of everything, like he God. So he'll tell you that's a sun, radiation, and this and that. Okay, I get what you're saying, what it does as far as its function. Who created it? Who had the capability? We got satellites, we got Wi-Fi's. We're impressed by an iPhone. I'm impressed by whoever created that. I'm impressed by whoever created a little seed that you plant in the soil, and over time, if you properly give it what it needs, a whole tree will grow with more fruits and more. I'm impressed by that. I'm impressed that right now I have what they call, this ain't for children, I have a scrotum that has seeds in it, and if I plant it in a woman, it will grow inside of her and produce a me. Huh? But we still trying to get cars and clothes and positions and status. We trying to look a certain way. We trying to impress other people. We trying to post on social media, so other people know, look, I got it popping too. I'm like, bruh, wake up. This goes all the way back to the Sean Combs, P. Diddy, warning before destruction. How many people are walking this earth that are operating at the level of a Puff Daddy? And if they doing it to him, best believe that's a warning that they coming for everybody who ain't operating accordingly and correctly. Pride comes before fall, warning before destruction. It's rapture season. So all the individuals who are going through certain things, we don't know how many people. This is for an example. I don't know Sean Combs. I have no right to judge him just because of what's being shown to me, because it's always deeper. As an example, hypothetically, how many people were affected by him being in his position to where if he was removed out of his position, these people will be able to be set free? And then how many people were benefiting off of him being in that position, which was hurting a lot of people, to where if he's removed out of that position, they're no longer going to be able to receive the benefits of him being in that position. See how this game goes? So there's a group of people based on him. This is just an example because I don't know him. By him being in his position, that's to say, that places as to say, okay, those who are under that position either will be affected in a good way or affected in a bad way. Either way, there's going to be an effect. So you can consider that and look at that in some way, shape, or form as a form of like, if someone is in bondage and then they get released, and then there's someone who was in a certain state of bondage, but within that bondage there was freedom, there is a form of a rapture in itself. That's a form of a rapture. One person gets delivered and saved. They ain't got to deal with that. Look, from a Cassie standpoint, Cassie got raptured, as to say, right? Cassie got raptured out of that position. Then there was someone who was contributing to Cassie being in that position. They're not getting raptured in that sense. And they're not going to have a person to be in a certain position that's going to be able to provide for them or take care of them in the ways that kept other people in certain positions and conditions. That's what's actually being presented right now. That's what's actually being demonstrated publicly for the world to see. Because the one thing that is known is that you have to give a certain level of warning before anything happens, so that it's from a more so universal law type deal. It's like a law. We have to let it be known what's taking place and what's happening, so that when it does happen, you can't say you wasn't warned. That's law. That's law. Excuse me. So we're at a place and a point to where this becomes very important for us to check our hearts, check our motives, because I'm gonna tell you right now, anybody who wakes up in the morning and focuses on me in any way that's negative and foul, that's not a good look for you. Having nothing to do with me. That's just to show the state of being you're in and the mindset you're in. That's supposed to be the alarm clock. Why am I thinking, what did this person actually do? Why do I feel like this? If you wake up in the morning and you don't feel some positive love and peace and joy towards a person, and it comes out in that way, because a lot of this is not rocket science. It's really not. So I say, let me make sure on my end, based on what I'm responsible for, let me make sure I keep myself in a position to where there's no justifiable reason for anybody to feel like I'm an enemy to them. It would have to be based on the choices and decisions that they have made, not me. I will not come into agreement with that. Search your hearts. Lord, create within me a clean heart, renew a right spirit within me. Take this heart of stone and turn it back into flesh. I've allowed it to get too hard over time. So many things have happened to me over the course of my life that I have not healed from, and I need you to heal me, because I can't keep taking my life out on others. I can't keep putting other people in certain positions and situations based off my choices and my decisions, my wants and my needs. Don't work like that no more. It was only allowed to work like that for a time and for a season, for a purpose and for a reason. We're coming to the conclusion of all of that. So we got to really wake up, man, and get back to the basic level of what God presented in the first place when he said love fulfills the law. Love fulfills the law. If I really didn't have the peace of God in my life, if I really didn't have the love of God in my life in a genuine way, and have on the helmet of salvation to remind me of everything that God has brought me through, looking at everything that has been done to me and against me up until this point in time, based on people's personal choices and reasons and their decisions and what they're trying to accomplish and do, bro, Some of us have to really genuinely understand what it truly means to walk in the spirit of meekness and humility, because boy, oh boy, and put our trust and faith in a true and living God in a real and genuine way, because it becomes too easy for people to focus on other people in ways that they should not be focused on them. This is what God is getting ready to separate. This is what's getting ready to get cleaned up. The time has come. And that's what you're going to see all over social media. The Cat Williams interview in Club Shay Shay, that Cat Williams interview, there's nothing that's covered that will not be exposed. There's nothing being done right now that can be considered to be in secret. You have to be in a very deceptive and dark, reprobate, blinded eyes mind to believe that just because a person or a people are not present, that what you are doing is not being seen, monitored, observed in some way, shape, or form that goes beyond the physical realm. So we got to be mindful and we got to be careful. We got to be focused and we got to be ready, because it's really that time. Heavenly Father, we thank you right now for what you are doing in our lives. Check this out, man. I'm a father. I'm a father. I'm a grown man. I'm not a game. I'm not a joke. I'm not somebody you play with or disrespect. Now, you could do all of those things, and guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to continue to honor God's word and trust that when he comes forth and he comes through and he handles business, even your children's children is going to have to pay the consequences, the repercussions for that, man. Because God's love and his genuine repentance and his mercy and grace is that real, to where there's really no justifiable reason for anybody to feel like they need to go against anyone or come against someone or do things to people in order to accomplish simple, temporary, materialistic things in positions that don't even really matter in the first place, bro. When it's all said and done, if you don't have peace and love and joy in your heart with a clear mind that can create and think and manifest, clear observation, discernment, assessment, logic, creativity. A lot of times, if you're just stretching out your body, stretching and breathing correctly, you're going to even walk with a different posture and structure, just because your body is functioning at the level to where if somebody's on the outside looking at you from an insecure mindset, they're going to think, oh, look at how he walking around cocky. No, my back is straight. My spine is rightly aligned. My shoulders are up. I'm literally functioning the way I was created to function. But if you all angry and upset all the time and frustrated and there's no peace, you're gonna look like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. Precious. Tell you one thing, Abba Father's moving in great ways. Stay focused, stay vigilant, stay motivated, stay encouraged, stay full of life and life more abundantly. For it's corporate, it's personal. It's between you and God. When you stand before God, he's not judging you as an organization. He's not judging you as a group. He's not judging you as a family. He's judging you independently as an individual, period. If I had to find anything or say anything to end this so that we understand that we must first take accountability for ourselves. Somebody does something to me, it's my choice and my decision how I choose to respond, think, and feel and react to it. I'm going to be held accountable for that, not based on what somebody did. Blessings to you all. Thank you for taking the time to view this live. Peace and love and joy and harmony. Don't let nobody stop what God is doing in your life. Don't let nobody intimidate you, interrupt you, try to deceive you, distract you, delay you, come against you. I'm going to tell you right now, because you're doing God a total disservice based on the fact that he has saved you and redeemed you for so much and brought you through it all for this moment in time so that he can glorify himself in your life to allow the things in this little third dimension that's temporary to stop you. It's not happening. Be grateful and thankful. Be full of life and life more abundantly in love. Respond out of love. Even if evil comes against you, hate comes against you, respond with love. Always stay praying without ceasing. God put a voice inside of your head for a reason. People don't even use that voice. There's a lot of things, man, that I'm not going to even touch on right now. Some things you want to pay for because it's that valuable. And if you pay for it, you ain't going to just run around giving it away because you're going to understand its worth and its value. But that becomes the key thing that we need to stay focused on. So blessings to you all, man. Stay focused. I'm almost done. Yeah, I'm almost done. So yeah, just stay focused, stay motivated. Um, Just know that God is moving in great ways. And just like I said, man, even like right now at this moment, man, it's a beautiful Friday, man. I'm believing for great things, man. Like I said, I'm a father of three. I'm pushing it. I'm pushing and believing and decreeing and declaring for God to bless me with a home. You know, I have my own LLC business. I'm pushing for God to establish the works of my hands. You know, bringing my soul tribe, bringing my soulmate, bringing my destiny helpers, angel investors. Truly believing what God is doing for you. Stay vigilant and stay focused on being in position to be a blessing to others, but always stay in position so you could be blessed as well. Balance this thing out. Balance this thing out. Because, like I said, if you got to stand in front of God and be judged as an individual, it's not always collective or corporately. You got to make sure you're believing for what God is doing with you, what God is doing in your life. Every curse and every spell is broken. Any wicked and foul, unclean energy, vibration, thought, agreement, contract is under severe punishment and judgment beyond the practitioner's understanding because God is not playing when it comes to Him being glorified. I did not make it out of what I made it through, be saved and redeemed from even my own destructive nature and behavior to have anybody think that they can play games with a grown man who have children that dependent on him. Y'all better start thinking the same way and come in boldness and confidence. Operate out of humility and meekness. But get that balance to where you know there's a Goliath out there that you got to cut the head off. Get this victory. Don't let another week go by. Don't let another month go by. Don't let another year go by. Don't let nobody play games with your life like you a game. This is your life. Nobody came out the womb with you but you. You got children to take care of. You have a family to take care of. You have things you need to accomplish. You have dreams. You have visions. You have goals. You have a mind, body, and soul. When your stomach hurts, yes, people know what it's like to be hungry, but they don't know what you feel like when you're hungry. Everybody has had a headache, but that's your headache. Those are your dreams. So get ready for God to do some great things when you start taking it that serious. Start taking it that serious because it's that real, man. I love y'all. Peace and blessings to everyone who came on this live. God is moving in great and mighty ways, and it's definitely showtime. Every wicked and foul agreement is destroyed. Every wicked and foul individual with darkness in their hearts will be judged accordingly. I want people to see this video to know my life is not a game. My soul is not a game. My finances, my resources, my purpose, my divine destiny, all of my blood relatives out there who've been playing games with my life with these contracts, all these societies and organizations, time is up, man. Warning before destruction. Pride comes before the fall, and we all need to start getting it right and start showing love because I wouldn't have made it this far if I was wicked and foul and had something against people. You don't make it this far with everything that comes against you. You just don't. You just don't. People who don't even know you. I'm demonetizing every single individual, organization, every group who was getting paid to come up against me. Them days is done. My children will no longer suffer so that other people can take care of their children, as if your children are more important than mine. If your children were more important, then do what you need to do for your children. Don't go up against other people, destroying other people's lives to take care of what you need to take care of. That's the rapture. So the great divide is at hand. God is moving. Every curse, every spell is broken from this. I'm telling you, man, it becomes so intense that if you didn't truly believe and trust and know that there is a real living God who is moving in a real genuine way and he's not playing, especially when it comes to those who operate out of witchcraft and black magic and sorcery, all these games, if you really understood what's getting ready to take place, what's really getting ready to happen in a very real and genuine way, it would be very narcissistic and dumb of me to even speak on things like this if I was a part of it in any way, shape, or form. Because even as I speak on it, I can feel in my body right now as I'm speaking on it, I can feel the shift and the change. I can feel what God has already done, and now it's manifesting. So you got to keep believing, you got to keep standing, and you got to be consciously aware of not only what you're doing with people or for people, but the steps you're taking when it comes to you as an individual. That becomes even more important. So make sure you stay focused, stay encouraged. God is moving in great and mighty ways. Share the video, like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the drill. I just reached 770 subscribers today. So 2 sevens. We're going to have 3 sevens before the day is out. So thank you to you all for who have been supporting. Thank you for everyone for your prayers. Thank you to everyone who hasn't been supporting, who just comes just to see if they spell work is working. For sure. Blessings to y'all too, man. Because that's one of the reasons why I do what I do. Not just to talk to the so-called chosen or to preach to the choir, but to speak to those who really need to know that there's a real and living God. And that a lot of the things that we have been doing that's not of God, it's not going to suffice in this next season. Let's get it, y'all. It's time to get to work. One love. Yee.